welcome. This video is about unusual names. So I'm gonna give the ones that we picked for both our boys, but also names that we really liked, or I really liked mostly, that are really original for the most part, and that we ended up not picking. So yeah, I'm gonna explain the significations. To be fair, for us, the meaning didn't really matter. If we liked how the name sounded, the meaning was not that big of a deal. But yeah, for some people it really matters. So I'm gonna speak about the meaning, maybe the origin of the names, and yeah, let's just start. So I start with boys. I have more or less 10 names for boys and 10 names for girls. So my husband is from Brazil and I'm French. There are few names, if not most of the names actually, that are from Brazilian origin or French origin. So in the UK, it's not necessarily the easiest names to pronounce, but yeah, that's we didn't really mind. I hope it's not gonna be too much of a hassle for our kids, but like yeah, we wanted a French name and a Brazilian name. Maybe it won't be okay, so the most of the names won't be great if you don't want something a little bit exotic. But yeah, I'm gonna get into it. So for boys, we're gonna start with my firstborn name. My firstborn's name, sorry, his name is Solal. I write all the names down so you know the spelling. So it's a French name that is really unusual, quite rare. It's coming from a novel from Albert Cohen, written in 1930, an eponym novel that's called Solal as well. And checking time to time, my baby's sleeping, so I'm just having a look. Sorry about that. And I have some notes about the names. So yeah, it's coming from a novel, and it's a name that is Hebrew, and it means sweet, or it means guide, and the ones who makes a way through. So that's all the meanings. As I mentioned, we didn't really care for the meaning, so this is not why we picked up the name, but yeah, I found, like, to my French ear at least, it sounded really, really nice. It sounds a bit like, soleil in French, that means the sun. And apparently to my husband's Brazilian ear, it sounded nice as well. So in Brazil, they pronounce it more like Solal, which is nice to me too. But yeah, it's easy. I mean, we were thinking in the UK would be quite easy because you read it as, you pronounce it as you read it. But yeah, it's not always the case. People find the name probably a bit strange, but yeah, here it is. So this is our firstborn's name. In our secondborn, so our firstborn name is Solal. His second name is the name of his dad, so my husband is Solal Tiago. So Tiago is a Brazilian name or Portuguese, and it means, so it's from Hebrew origin as well. It means supplanter, holder of the heel, and is the equivalent of the name Jacob or the name James in English. And then our secondborn's name is Thalys. I knew, as a French person, I knew that name from the Thalys theorem that we learn at school in mathematics. So that's just how I knew the name. So it's from Greek origins. But actually in Brazil there are many Thalys. So you would write it that way, but you would pronounce it, in Brazil we pronounce it Thalys more than in French we would pronounce it Thales. So we would put an accent in French, but we decided not to because it's a Brazilian name. That's why we picked it. It means the one who blossoms, who flourishes, or the one who thrives. And it's about ambition, perseverance, and success, this name. So his second name is the name of my granddad, so it's Mark with a C. And Mark, I mean, is a bit more famous. It comes from the Latin Marcus. Marcus, which is quite a nice name as well, and it's related to the Roman god of war, Mars, who was a protector. So yes, that's for this name. Then in the names that I really liked, in the Brazilian names, I really like João. João is from Hebrew origin. It means graced by God, or God is gracious. And this is the equivalent to the English name John. We didn't pick it because already my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law picked it as well. So they loved it too. And yeah, I'm so happy that they named their son that name, because I really love it. Um, anyway, then you have Vitor. I really liked Vitor, so it's an alternative, sorry, to Victor. In French, it would be with a C, like Victor Hugo, for instance, and the author. But in Brazil, they removed the C, so it's Vitor, and I really liked the Brazilian way. It means champion, Victor from victory, or Vitor here, conqueror, and it comes from the Latin word victor. So, and that's for that name. That's it. Then we have Tayo. I really liked Tayo. It can be spelled many ways. I like the simple way. It's coming from Spanish or Yoruba or Japanese. There are different origins to that name. And Tayo, spelled with a Y, means worth joy. It means great also, or extreme. But it's mostly apparently a name that is kind of like related to joyful or joy, to this feeling of joy. Then I liked Maito. I liked the Basque version because apparently it also can come from Spanish, from Japanese, but I like the Spanish French Basque version of the name with the double dot on the I. And for this version, it means sparrow, so it means like joyful mainly. In Japanese, it means strength and determination. This name. Then we have Caio. I liked it with a K to make a change because in Brazil it's really common with a C. And it's from the Latin caius, and which means to rejoice, or like same like meaning of the feeling of joy mainly. And then we have Cassius that I really liked. We know Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. So yeah, I really like this name, which means it comes from the Latin. It means the helmeted warrior, or it can mean empty, which is not the best meaning. It can mean vain, and yeah, it's from the Roman, and it can mean such strength and confidence as well. So that's for the boy's name. I'm trying to be fast so the video is not too long, and you can watch all the names in a short time. And then let's go for the girl's name. So there are more common names in the girls because there are some that are not so rare, but I really liked too. So I really liked Yana. If we had a girl, we didn't have a girl, but if we had a girl, I really liked Yana. My husband had one of his cousins named like that, so we didn't want this name because it was already in the family, but I really love it. It's from Hebrew. It means God is gracious, or He, capital E, capital H, sorry, answers. Or it means goddess of the moon. That is quite cool. So yeah, so that's for Yana. Then we opted, if we had a girl, for Jana with a J, because my husband's mom's name is Jane, so it was like an homage for her, and it's really close from the name Yana. So it's from the Hebrews, Slavic and Roman origins. It means God is gracious, and is the feminine of the name John. And it also means graced and goddess of the moon too. Which I really love. This meaning is quite cool. And then we were hesitating between Jana or the Brazilian name Janaína. Jana would be short for Janaína in Brazil. Janaína has quite cool meanings as well. It means the queen of the seas, the mother of waters, the goddess of the seas. It takes its origin in the Tupi-Guarani area. So Tupi is more Brazil, and Guarani is Paraguay and Argentina. So it's a proper Latin American name. Then I liked Eden. I remember as a teenager, I was like, if I have a daughter, if I have a boy, it would be Solal, and if I have a girl, it would be Eden. Eden, so in French, le jardin d'Eden is like you would say the like heaven, basically. It's like paradise. It's the garden of pleasure. So it's in English it means prosperity, but in Hebrew it means delight, and it's the name for heaven, paradise, or place of pleasure. I really liked the name Tilan. You probably in English would pronounce it Thailand. I will put the spellings, but yeah, I really liked it. It means flower. It has its origins in the Arabic and Latin culture, but yeah, I only heard that in French so far. I really love this name. We have a very famous model in France named Tilan Blondo. And I loved the name Lola, which comes from Spanish. Some of the Spanish is like short originally from the Spanish name Dolores, meaning sorrows. So it's talking about Virgin Mary, the Lady of Sorrows. So basically, that's where it comes from. Because when you say the name means sorrow, I don't know, I would be like hesitating about the meaning, but I really like Lola, find it cute. But yeah, that's the meaning. Then we have Romy. I really like Romy, like the actress from back in the day, Romy Schneider. It's a nice name. It can be short for Roman as well, that we have in France. I like Roman too. But Romy, so it's from Latin, it means the dew of the seas. And it comes from Rom or Roman. It's like short for that. It symbolizes freshness and renewal. Sorry about my accent. Then I really liked Myla. It's a name that I discovered when I was in Australia. I worked like kind of my boss was named Myla. So yeah, it's from Greece. It has many origins as well. So it has Greek origin from the name Maya, which means the goddess of spring, of growth and fertility. In this Arabic origin, it says that it comes from the name Layla, which means night or dark beauty. And in Spanish, it comes from the name Maya, which is from the sea again. And you also have origins from the Old High German, from Maja, which means strength and might. So quite nice meanings as well to this name. I like the name Solea. I think in English you probably pronounce it Soli. So it's from Greek and it means a sun. From Hebrew as well, in Hebrew, sorry, as well, it means princess or peaceful. And in Spanish, it comes from the word solo, which means only or alone. And then the name that is more common as well, Nina, that I liked. So in Spanish it means little girl, like Nina, and in Hebrew means grace. In Russian as well, you have a lot of Nina, so it has its origin in Russia. And in Native American, which over there it means fire, and it has Islamic origins, and it means the gracious one. So here we have the 20 names that I really liked and that like we talked about with my husband. I hope that it's names that you didn't necessarily hear before and that you will like too. And yeah, that's it. I hope I could help with your research of names. And I hope we get to see each other soon in another video. See you. Thank you for watching.